No, I would talk with Justin, with the practice and stuff like that. Knew I was going to be able to, talked about, being able to hit 80 meters, stuff like that, but never to be throwing out that 83.50 and right on the dot then too to make it into Worlds. And yeah, it's just going crazy.
I mean, is that like something, when you go 30 past what you've previously done, is that something that you even think about, that you could do that much, or do you think, oh, 5 to 10 or whatever, is that something that even entered your mind that you could do as much as you did?
I guess never really thought of it, I guess, like that. Just knew with the last 2 months off, I guess, as far as not going to any meets, was hitting training a little bit harder, and was feeling really good these last 2 weeks going through everything, and ended up feeling it really well on that one, and felt great.
Can you talk about that a little bit? You talk to golfers and they're like, as soon as you swung it, you knew that you hit the ball well. Talk about going through that throw. I mean, did you feel it when it left your hand? Did you know that was a great throw? Yeah,
coming down the runway, it felt way more smooth. Coming through everything, the transition, everything coming into the throw, and then right at the finish, right where I hit it, it just felt like all my energy and that build up through everything just shot through into the javelin, and so watching it fly there and hearing Justin yell and scream, just kind of knew I was going to be out there far.
And then talk about what it's like to be able to achieve this and everything. I mean, you had Tommy John surgery, and to come back from that and to be a USA champion and to be heading towards Moscow to compete for Worlds. How exciting is that, and what's that mean to you to have been able to accomplish that and to have continued support from these guys?
Yeah, it was tough that senior year, being able to, that was the first year we could go to NCAAs, everything like that, blowing out my elbow right in the first meet right away after throwing the best I've ever thrown on the first throw, and then not being able to compete anymore collegiately, and then came back the next year kind of just hoping just to throw around for fun, just to see how it went, and ended up sticking around, being able to train, everything like that, and got Justin in here with a great training program and throwing and everything and technique, and helped out a lot these last couple years, and it's just never thought I'd come back around this far, I guess.
Were you prepared to win? I mean, what was it like when it happened? Kind of the fallout right after it.
I was just excited about the first 3 throws. I mean, the first round. Being in the first flight, I was like, yeah, I was pretty happy. First throw, PR, wasn't flying right. Second throw, wasn't flying right. Third throw, wasn't flying right, and still just kept on bumping up each time. So I was happy with that, and I knew that with the competition, there's some big throwers in there that possibly, if they would have had their best day or, even better day, that I might not even make finals going into it, or be right weight on at the bottom. But to come up and enter finals in third and then be able to pop that one out there, it was, yeah, didn't really expect it.
Was there a temptation to keep going? Like you said, every one of the throws was better. I mean, I know you passed there last year. Was there a temptation to let's keep this going and see if we can keep this roll going, or after you pop that one, was it like that's kind of probably what I'm going to hit today?
Right away, I was excited, like, oh yeah, still got 2 throws left. And then went over to talk to Justin, and still just heart going a million miles an hour. And he's like, yeah, we'll just pass the next one and see what happens, and go from there. And still, when my next turn, I told him I passed it, and still when my next turn came up, I couldn't even stand still. I was walking, pacing back and forth, and I know that, yeah, if I would have taken another throw, I think I would have been just a little too hyped up, pumped up, and probably would have, I don't know, risky, to mess something up, and didn't want to take that chance.
You maybe haven't had a chance to think about this going forward quite yet, but I mean, what are your thoughts now, between now and in Moscow? I mean, when you put something out there that far, do all of a sudden, is your expectations like you're going to throw close to that now, or do you have to kind of scale it back and think, okay, that was almost maybe an anomaly, or do you all of a sudden ramp up your expectations, Riley, to think, like when you're training, is it going to be harder to train maybe now that you've done something like that? Easier? Does it give you more motivation?
Definitely, I think there's going to be that pressure there that, you hit that big throw and you don't want it to be a fluke. You want it to be that big throw and to continue on or be at that mark all the time. And I know with training, hopefully stick with it hard and be able to maybe get another meet with the Moscow one, afterwards and continue on there. But definitely want to get out there and keep going on it. I think there's definitely more in there to be able to get some more throws out there.
Justin, is this something you thought Riley had? See if everything went well, or was it even a little surprising to you what he threw yesterday?
To be honest, I early in this fall, we were out there throwing, and I took a video of Riley, and he probably doesn't remember, and I saved it to my phone. And I told Riley, I said, Riley, I think by springtime, you should be able to throw over 80 meters. And I still have the video, and I watched it last night and thought, wow, he fixed the things we talked about. And leading into the meet, I had told Lars and I told Ryan, I said, I think Riley's ready to go over 80 meters. And 83.50 and 80 meters, it doesn't sound like a lot. There's a big difference between the two throws, and I'm kind of speechless, really. It was just really neat to see, and I knew he can throw 80 meters, just didn't know if or when it would happen. And luckily for us, for Riley, really it happened on the most important day.
What goes into, and for both you guys maybe, what goes into being a great javelin thrower? I mean, is there something, is it technique? Is it you have to have a certain amount of strength? Does it help to be a former baseball or football player to have some throwing background? What goes into being a great javelin thrower?
You're the great javelin thrower. So.
I think it definitely helped out. I remember, I just think back and living out in the country and playing out in our yard just with my older brother. And he was 3 years older than me, and we just throw football just constantly. We'd run around in circles and constantly throw as far as we could and just keep going with that and, building up through baseball, everything like that. I think that has some part to do with it. But obviously, getting up into this level, you got to have the right training, right technique to go through it, and that's where Justin came out big on that and helped me out a lot.
After you had the Tommy John, did you ever even think that you'd come back to what you did before? Is that something, or did you think, I might not ever be as good as I was because of that?
Yeah, actually, yeah. After I tore, I was worried, maybe I might not ever throw again, anything really, let alone coming back and throwing javelin within a year and competing, in a few meets and still being up at that 200-foot mark at that. And but yeah, just had to get through. It was tough a lot of times, just especially post-collegiate, you're not getting any help really, a lot. Obviously coaching, these coaches helping me out here and being able to train with these guys was able to help out a lot and get me back into it.
After the competition was over and you'd seen you won, what first came to mind? What was the first thing that popped in your mind at that point?
Probably can't use that language.
Just shock, I guess. Still just tough to believe. It's obviously, I was confident that I could throw far. I don't know, but just like not expecting to be at that level and be up there knowing that, I don't know, one of the older jab throwers that's still going on right now, I guess. But be able to come back from everything is just crazy. Just a million different emotions going on.
No, go ahead.
Don, what does this kind of say for your program? You had Amanda Smock go to the Worlds a couple of years ago, the Olympics in 2012. Now you have Riley who's going to the World Championships. Like in the last 3 years, to have athletes ascend to that level, what does that kind of mean for you guys?
Well, obviously it's a great boost, but it's Riley's commitment. He asked about how far he throws. Obviously, it isn't just a grip it and rip it event by any stretch of imagination. And for Justin, as the coach, there's actually been a number of times where Justin has taken good throwers and made them great throwers. And Justin's been telling me for months he would throw over 80 meters. And Justin also said on his first 3 throws, if he'd hit it like he hit it on his 4th throw, the first 3 would have gone as far, maybe farther, and things. But a lot of the great performances in field events, it's perfect conditions, and whether that be weather or athletes just in the right frame of mind, and you look at world records or many of the great performances. Sometimes it's perfect conditions and things, but it takes a hell of a commitment by a student athlete, and hats off to Riley and his coach.
Justin, you've worked with those athletes at the next level. Where do you guys go from here? Where do you and Riley go, and what do you need to see from him here in the next weeks before, or in the time before Moscow?
I think the biggest thing really will be to just kind of step away and not put the pressure on, hey, I have to throw 83.50 again. And just go out there with the same approach of just execute your throw and let the results kind of go where they go. A lot of times at this level, everyone's talented. Everyone has great abilities, especially when you start talking world level and competing at a world championships or Olympic games. They're all talented. Now the big challenge is going to be who can go into the competition without putting the pressure on themselves to say, I have to win, or I have to make finals, or I have to break the world record. Just go out and do what got you there, and things will be okay. So I think the mental side of training and preparing for the meet is the biggest part now. Because the physical part, that's done.
What happens in these next couple months? Is it training? You try to get a few meets in, or what's kind of the build-up to the Worlds in August? Either or.
I told Riley I strongly encouraged him to just train. Don't compete. There's things that you can gain by going to the competitions, make some money here and there, but overall I think it's more important to train, stay healthy, and go to the competition confident and healthy, and then the mental side will be there too. So.
So at this point, he doesn't plan to hit any more meets before that. Just get a trade right up to that.
Yeah. And there'll be a training camp in Austria for a week, and then from Austria he'll go to Russia.
Riley, had you ever before this even thought about Olympics? I mean, is that even in your mind, and does it now? I mean, do you let yourself think, what if I can keep improving or something, that maybe is something that you'd think about even?
I guess getting that taste of the trials last year definitely made me hungry, to come back. And the plan was, set up for the 4 years and be able to stay healthy, just keep throwing through and training hard and getting, in better shape, everything, getting ready to throw at those. But my roommate called me last night on the way back, and he goes, "Yeah, remember when you?" Well, my background on my computer screen is actually the Moscow Stadium, which I put on, just kind of joking around at first, but I guess it worked out now. But put on actually about last October, I think, on my computer, and so yeah, he had to remind me of that, and but yeah, that was so. It was kind of way back in my mind that is a possibility, the way everything was going and feeling. So, but definitely big shock in the end.
Coach Larson, talk about how you convinced a guy from Stanley, North Dakota, who wants to play football and baseball, and the little, sometimes more prestigious sports. How do you convince him that his best interest is to be a javelin thrower for North Dakota State? And how you've had several people like that throughout the years, small town kids who come in and really explode on the track scene.
Well, I'll have to refer to Riley to ask why there was a change of heart. We took an early shot at him about recruiting him. Class B kid, had a great junior year throwing, and we've had a great history of javelin throwers here at North Dakota State. And Riley actually had committed to playing NAIA football and was accomplished. Matter of fact, I think all-state quarterback, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And was going to play college football. But then there was a call that he did a change of heart and wanted to know. And I said, well, I'll drive out to Stanley tomorrow, see how things go. And so fortunately for us, he chose North Dakota State, came here and had a great career. Was a blow. When he got injured, we were at Arizona State, and as he said earlier, that he opened basically with a lifetime best and actually won the competition there. But then it wasn't long after that we found out that he would be done. And, and just kind of sitting around wondering whether or not he'd be able to make a comeback. And, unfortunately wasn't able to come back and throw for us, but now these years later is back doing something he set a goal at. And, you're thrilled for an athlete of that magnitude that's taken the time to train and do what's needed to be done to compete at this level. So again, compliments to Riley and Coach Justin.
Where were you gonna play football and why did you change your mind?
I'd actually signed with Valley City to be a quarterback and play baseball too, be a pitcher. I guess I kind of looked at it as, for me, just a little bit easier on the body, one sport per year. Weren't going to get beaten up all the time playing football. And I played football for a long time. I only threw jab my junior and my senior year and was pretty successful at it, and it was new to me, so I was like, well, hey, and looked at some of the stats across the U.S. and looked like I was up there a ways, so I was like, well, might as well continue and see what I can do with this. And really liked when Lars came out, just really clicked with him, and then when meeting Stevie and everything like that and all the other staff and the facilities here, just knew that I wanted to come out and be on the team.
Was that a late change of heart? I mean, was it close to football season, or was it till summer when you decided to senior year?
Springtime.
Yeah.
I think he'd thrown in his first outdoor meet and opened up, I think, with a PR lifetime best and got a phone call. And now we'll find out how good his Russian is.
Yeah.
How much does it mean to you to have that continued support from NDSU after all this time?
It's helped out a lot as far as just huge to be able to have a place to train and still be able to, call it home, really, and be able to come in here and, everybody, I went through my undergrad here, so everybody in here, they're, happy to see everything like that and be able to come in here and, use the facilities, everything. I mean, it helps out a lot. And to be able to, still come back in and train and with, even with some of the kids every once in a while and see what they're doing. Sometimes it helps out to see what they're doing wrong. So it's like, oh man, maybe I should probably fix that too, and take those little things like that and see, just to get another eye on everything. It's always a lot of fun to get back in with the young kids and I guess show them up a little bit every once in a while.
You call them kids.
And you ever think back now what you would have happened if you would have played football and baseball? Seeing how things played out after you decided to track.
That's one that I never really have looked back on. I think it would have been fun, but definitely with football, you got to be at an extremely high level to move on from that. And obviously track too, but I mean you can compete in track and field still. Like I could still throw even if I was only throwing 60 meters. I could still go to the NDSU meets, the local meets, everything like that, and still compete and have fun at it. And just play around with it. Where football, baseball, it's I don't know. Still, really just don't look back at it at all.